recording this, and then here we go. Okay, I'm back to my screen. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Mary Albert. I'm an implementation specialist with Brown & Brown. We are the broker on behalf of your group. So what that means for you guys is you do have an account management team that is dedicated to you pre-enrollment, post-enrollment. If you have any questions throughout this upcoming coverage period, you have an account management team that's dedicated to you. Who that person is, I saw a lot of the people in the room had your benefit guide, which is great, which is what I'll use for our presentation. But that account manager's name, contact, email, everything is on the back page. It's Margot. I'm not even sure how to say her name, but I know Margot well enough as a coworker. Actually, Margot lives in Texas, so she works for us here in Daytona, but remotely. Anyways, Margot's great. She's very well versed in your benefits. So if you have questions, you'll want to reach out to Margot. Now, your open enrollment window is now. So it started December 11th. It's going to close December 17th. This is a passive enrollment. What that means is I am going to go through the benefits today. My goal is for every single person to walk out of that room and say, that was informative. That's my goal. If you are happy with the benefits that you've signed up for, you won't have to do anything. However, where you look at what you're enrolled in is going to be in Paycor. I highly recommend everyone getting into Paycor before December 17th to see what you're actually enrolled in. It's a great time to review those benefits. Once December 17th rolls around, you're going to be sealed or locked in with the benefits that you've chosen. Your new coverage period begins January 1st and will run throughout the duration of next year. First page just includes great terminology. If you want to reference it back, it's going to be here in your benefit guide for people joining us here. Okay, now I did mention when December 17th rolls around, whatever benefits you've signed up for or declined after that date, you're going to be sealed or locked in with those elections that you've made throughout the coverage period of next year. However, if you do experience a qualifying life event, you'll see some of those listed here: marriage, divorce, birth or adoption of a child. There's other loss of coverage for one of your dependents. You want to reach out to your HR team within 30 days of the event to see if coverage can be changed. Now down here, I'm going to share multiple ways, because there are multiple ways that you can lower your out-of-pocket expenses when you understand how to use your insurance. Okay. Now, your medical plans are being offered to you through Cigna. This is actually a very important page because if you do not, I highly recommend everyone creating a member portal. And this is true for whatever insurance you have. By creating a member portal, all your information is housed in one area. The replacement ID cards, where are those in-network providers? Cigna's website or portal rather, when you create one, and if you currently have medical coverage, you could do this today. You would go on to the website here, register. It's going to ask you for some information. It's going to find you. It's a beautiful collection of when you went to the doctors, how much you paid, all your information is housed right there. I cannot encourage you enough to do that. If you don't create a member portal, it is really hard to figure out how your insurance works. Now, other things, now I mentioned you have an account management team at Brown & Brown. Margot's great. You also, when you get that ID card, there's a lot of support specifically that Cigna provides to its members. If you do have a question, okay, say it's off hours and you want to be able to talk to someone, you can call that number. There are registered nurses available for you. Let's say someone's there and they want to just ask a question, second opinion. You have access to a registered nurse through Cigna. Now down here, I would also, if you have a smartphone, recommend downloading the app. Same accounts linked together. It's just now it's in the palm of your hands. Let's go ahead and zoom out. So take a minute. I would encourage you to do that. Okay, so here we go. These are the 3 medical plans that are being offered to you. I'm going to go through and explain this in a simple way that all of this will make sense, hopefully, to everyone in the room. Your insurance, first of all, the carrier is Cigna. I would not recommend calling a doctor and saying, I have Cigna, do you take my insurance? That's the first thing. And you might say, well, why would I not say that? You could call a doctor that could take part of Cigna, but be out of the network. And I'm going to explain to you, yes, you have coverage, but what it looks like in terms of what it costs you. So I will explain that. If you want to maximize this plan, what I would do is know the name of your network. It's Open Access Plus. If you have a doctor you want to go see, remember that member portal will show you those participating doctors and facilities. But if you have a doctor and you want to know, hey, this is the doctor I want to go to, if you want to call them, ask them if they're in the Open Access Plus network. That's the first thing.
So much.
Now, your child and wellness exams, and that includes your annual physical, your annual blood work, any preventative screening that is appropriate for your age and gender will be covered at 100% when you stay in this network. So I advise when you make those appointments to use that terminology, right? Like say annual physical. If you go in for that physical and you start talking about your knee or your shoulder, they could code it as an office visit. So minimally, I encourage everyone to make sure you're getting those wellness exams. So I'm going to scroll out and I'm going to ask everyone, frame the question.
Excuse me, Marie. Excuse
Yes.
me, Marie. Hey, CPS guest. There you go. Thank you. Need those guys to mute themselves.
Oh, great. Thank you. I heard a little bit of kickback, but I was trying to barrel through it. So I appreciate that. Thank you. I do want to say this, and I appreciate you even mentioning that. If somebody has a question that's for the good of the order, like that everyone, please feel free to, I can't see the chat box from presenting. You can unmute yourself. Do be mindful that it's, being recorded. So if you have a more specific or targeted question, at the end of today's session, I'll stop recording and then you can feel free to ask me then. Now, I do always ask folks to frame the question, what do your current benefits look like? What's working, perhaps what's not working? Do you have any procedures or treatments scheduled for the upcoming coverage period? When you think of that question, that'll help guide you to make the best decision for you or you and your family. Now, we talked about the network. Everything on this page roughly falls into two ways to pay for those services. You will see either something called deductible plus coinsurance, which I'm going to explain, or you'll see something called a copayment. So I'm going to start with this plan first. This plan here, this first plan, is your HSA plan, which is a health savings account plan. If you want to take advantage of a health savings account, which I'm going to go over, you would have to elect this first plan. So let's say you sign up for this first plan and you go for an office visit and you're in network, in this Open Access Plus network. You would pay a reduced negotiated contracted rate for that service because that provider has a contract with Cigna. Anytime you see a payment, or I'm saying a service that has that deductible plus coinsurance beside it, there's some on this plan, you're paying that reduced negotiated contracted rate when you are in network. Now, as if you pay for those services, it all goes into the same place. So I'm going to zoom in here. That money goes into something called a deductible bucket. Now, you can see on this first plan, if you are signed up employee only, that bucket can hold $2,000 of your money. And you can see down in the middle plan, it's less of your money it holds. And then over here, this is quite low. So what does that mean? Some people throughout the course of the year never hit their deductible, okay? They just go throughout their health journey, and that's great. If you were to be out of pocket, depending on which plan, and hit your deductible, how do you hit it? Through the services that say deductible. You knock that wall down. You then go on to phase two. Phase two is called coinsurance. Coinsurance is a cost sharing between you and the insurance company. So again, let's say you hit this your deductible on this first plan. And then let's say you have to go to the chiropractor. Now you're still offered that reduced negotiated contracted rate. Now you're only paying 30% of that bill. Cigna pays 70% of that bill. And of course, you can see this is you'd hit this deductible quicker, okay? And your coinsurance or your responsibility of it's less, so you're paying less. I just wanted you to compare that. Now, again, you might stay in that coinsurance phase. No one really wants to get to that phase because it means you're out of pocket. But do know when you hit that coinsurance phase, your bills have significantly lowered. Now, your third phase, your worst case scenario, is your out of pocket maximum. If now you can see it's individual, family, and then if one person, I can explain this, but let's say individual. If you hit $4,000 on this first plan of your health covered service bills when staying in network, if you're out of pocket that amount, a lot of money, but here's the good thing to know. If you hit that, health covered services thereafter when staying in network are covered at 100%. So no one wants to hit that, but the good thing to know is if you do, you know you have that coverage thereafter. And then of course you can see on this middle plan, let me explain the difference between this. This first plan, and this is true for all HSA plans, if you sign up employee only, all you have to worry about is that number right there. That's your out-of-pocket maximum. If you sign up your family, your spouse, your dependents, this is what you would have to hit as a family before all your health covered service bills, staying in network would be covered at 100%. This number down here reflects that, let's say, heaven forbid, somebody in the room signs up their spouse and their children. If one person on that plan, something happens, and they've hit that $7,350, their health covered service bills would then be paid at 100%. The difference on these plans is if one person on the plan, let's say employee, hits that $4,500 out of pocket, they've hit that maximum, they don't have to worry about their family amounts. They are then covered. Their health covered service bills are then covered at 100%. So I'm going to scroll out a little bit. That is how anything that says deductible plus coinsurance tracks. It goes to the deductible, to the coinsurance, to the out of pocket. Now you'll see on this middle plan and on this high plan, a lot of things say copay. Some people love copayments because they know what they're expected to pay when they go to the doctor. A copayment is a fixed flat dollar amount that you're expected to pay at the time of service. I always say, imagine it's like a ticket that you have to pay to go back to see the doctor. So you'll see on these plans, you go to the office visit, it's a straight copay. If you go emergency room, it's a flat copay. Here's what I want you to know. Copayments do not track towards your deductible. Copayments go right into your out-of-pocket maximum bucket. So the good thing to know when you're staying in network, any money that goes towards your deductible, any coinsurance money and any copayment, all of that money is accounted for into the bucket that actually really matters. Because if you were to hit, and this seems like a lot of money, these are actually very low out-of-pocket maximums, I'll tell you, because I do a lot of meetings. And again, these are high, but these are actually in terms of out-of-pocket maximums are low comparatively to other plans. Now, I want to explain or compare the difference between what it looks like out of network. So you do have out of network coverage. So if you were to go to a doctor that, remember I said, takes the insurance, but is not in this open access plus network, I'll use this middle plan as an example. Let's say you've gone to the doctors and, heaven forbid someone has to go to the emergency room and you're accumulating your money into this bucket. The moment you step out of that open access plus network, these buckets of money start over at zero. Okay, they're not combined. It is quite expensive to try to fill this out of network bucket and this in-network bucket of money. I will use myself as the non-example. When I was younger, I was on a PPO, in and out of network coverage. I thought I could go wherever I wanted. When you step out of the network, This starts over, at zero. And in addition, these providers and facilities do not have a negotiated contracted rate with Cigna. So quite often they're going to charge you more. I always say this, if it is in your medical best interest to seek out an out-of-network doctor, the good thing is that you guys have it, but just be mindful to maximize your plan and to keep those expenses lower. Try to stay in this Open Access Plus network. Now, you do have prescription drug coverage on all three of these plans. This is your HSA. When you're on an HSA, a health savings account plan, and you have to pick up a prescription, the way it works is the first dollar out of your pocket, you want to go to an in-network pharmacy, all that money is tracking towards your deductible. If you hit that deductible and then go to pick up a prescription, you would only pay a copay. Those co-payments, all of this money ties into that bucket of $4,000. Whereas if you sign up for the middle plan and the high plan, you do not have to hit your deductible. If you pick up a prescription, you just make a co-payment. So you might think, well, what would I pay? If you go onto your member portal page, Cigna's member portal page, and you type in a monthly medication that you might be prescribed, it's going to place that medication into a tier. Depending on what tier that medication is in would determine the copay you'd be responsible for paying. Now, if it's in your best interest, talk to your doctor. If you get a generic prescription, oftentimes it lowers your prices. Another way, well, no, if you get a 90-day supply, that's not going to be a way to save money. So that is something to be mindful of. There are other ways to save money when getting a prescription filled, and I'm going to go over that in just a moment. But hopefully that breaks this down simple so that it's either going to be a co-payment or something tracking towards your deductible. The main thing is staying in network is going to be the best way to lower those out-of-pocket expenses. Now, this is rare and worthy of me zooming in, because if you sign up for this HSA plan, wow, your employer is absorbing all of that. I present a lot of benefits. I was actually excited for today's webinar because these are phenomenal benefits. Why can I say that? Because I present benefits. I do most of my work in Florida. I've gone to Michigan, Tennessee. I travel quite a bit. That's my job. And I present a lot of benefits. This is phenomenal. If you were to elect, let me slide this up, the mid plan or the high plan, again, for employee only, your employer is absorbing quite a bit of that cost, a significant amount of that cost, I should say. Now, I can't see the chat. I'm going to put, I don't know who's in charge. If whoever deems themselves as in charge, if they see a question or they are hearing a question, a buzz that they think it's for the good of the whole group, feel free to please interrupt me. I'm going to keep going on and we can address individual questions after that. Now, again, listen, a really important page. If you have the benefit guide in front of you, some things that are on here that are important. I'm going to go over with you that you guys have virtual care that's attached to your plan. How to take advantage of that, I'm going to go over on the next page, actually. So do know that this Cigna plan is very rich in the benefits that you have virtual care. You might ask me, well, what does that cost? If you seek out virtual care, it's either going to track towards your deductible, so you're being charged like that reduced negotiated rate, or the middle and the high plan, it's a flat $25 copay. Now, I'll talk about that in just a second. Other things that I think are worthy of me pointing out here. I talked to you guys about having access to a registered nurse. There is a health information line. All this information is on your member portal page, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you just have a question, you're not feeling good, you know your body best, this is available to you. Right above this, there is some virtual and in-person support for behavioral support. So I do think that your plan comes with a lot of really good embedded features that it's worthy of, at least seeking out to see if it's something you can take advantage of. This page here, the following page, this is important. Why? Because your plan offers virtual care. It's being offered to you through MD Live. How do you take advantage of this? Go onto your member portal page, type in virtual care. It's going to walk you through the steps. This is what I'm going to suggest for everyone that's listening. Set this up now. Set it up in the sense of go on, see how it works. Why do I say that? If you're not feeling good, if you're traveling, if it's the middle of the night, you do not want to take that time to fumble through how your virtual care works. Take it from me. I had something in my eye. My eye was really red. This was a couple years ago, and I knew I had virtual care. I had never set it up, didn't know how it worked. I ended up going to the emergency room, for eye drops. When you go through virtual care, if they deem it medically necessary, they can even write you a prescription. I am a big fan of it. Again, you know your body best. You know when this would be something that would be, a feasible way to seek out care. Hold on, we have someone that's coming into our meeting. If you can see, there's different types of services, whether it's medical, you can see over here, there's some therapy, therapist type of care that you could seek out through virtual. Urgent care, you know your body best. This eye situation for me was not something I should have gone to the emergency room for, but I didn't know how serious my eye was getting swollen. All they did was prescribe prescription eye drops. Nonetheless, know that you have this, and I'm going to encourage everyone to take a look at it now, because like I said, it's good to have these things set up and know how to use this. Next page just really takes you through right here. I'm going to zoom in. Could not be any easier how to talk to a doctor. What I've been told is that you don't wait that long. They just connect you with a licensed health professional. So good stuff there. Now, this is a great page. You heard me mention that you have prescription drug coverage on all 3 plans. Some people are on a monthly medication. Some people receive a one-off prescription. My daughters, when they were in college, were on my medical plan. We were on an HSA plan. My youngest daughter received a one-off prescription, went to get it filled at Walgreens, which was my in-network pharmacy, was going to cost me over $80 because all that money was tracking towards my deductible, so it was a little bit higher. The pharmacy tech told me to check out GoodRx. GoodRx and Single Care, I don't work for them, are free websites. The way it works is you can type a prescription in. It'll show you the different pharmacies that have that prescription and what it costs. For me, it took the cost down to $13. It was a no-brainer. That's what I was going to do. So the reason we share this with you is this is your skin in the game. Where you have your prescriptions filled or a prescription filled is an opportunity to save money. So this could be something that might save you money. Now, if you take advantage of GoodRx or Single Care, you cannot use your insurance. That means any money you spend picking that prescription up doesn't track towards that out-of-pocket maximum, but it could save you money. Also, what could save you money is there are different pharmacies. If you use your insurance, always go to an in-network pharmacy. Different pharmacies, however, have flat discount rated programs. You'd be surprised. There are pharmacies. I live in Florida. Publix is our grocery store. For years, if you received a prescription for an antibiotic, you could go to Publix pharmacy and get a generic version of an antibiotic filled for free. A lot of pharmacies have free medicines, you'd be surprised, or discount flat rate programs for certain medications. Again, your skin in the game. If you are thinking, wow, this is costing a lot, there are other opportunities that you can seek out to save money. Now down here, you never really want to think about getting sick, but if you do, you have virtual care as an option. You can call Cigna's Healthline. Okay, those are going to be at your lowest cost. Going into your primary care physician, that's all going to be at your lowest cost. If you need to seek out urgent care, minimally, make sure you're going to an in-network facility. Okay. So no one wants to take the time to go and figure out what those in-network urgent cares are. I would do it. Here's why, because I've been stuck where I didn't know. You just end up going to a place and then you're going to pay more. Also, these are going to be at your higher cost, urgent cares and emergency room situations. But again, create that roadmap. I would have an idea as well as where your in-network hospitals are. Years ago, my daughter was at school, someone dislocated her knee. I drove over like on the lawn. That's how fast. She was in an ambulance. It wasn't an emergency, but in my eyes it was. They were taking her to the hospital, asking me what the in-network hospital, where do I want to go? I had no idea. So it's good to know these things in advance. Okay, remember that first medical plan that's being offered to you, that HSA plan. The way to take advantage of this next page, this health savings account, you have to sign up for that first plan. So what is a health savings account? Let's say you make, doesn't matter what you make, I'm going to make up a number, $30,000 a year, okay? And you don't have to put $1,000 into your HSA. You could put less, you can put more, but you can't go over these numbers. So let's just say, for sake of numbers, you take $1,000 over the course of the year and you have it deposited into your HSA. Now your taxable income is only $29,000. There is your first huge savings. You've taken that money out of your paycheck and it's not being taxed. So imagine you have $1,000 going into this account, not getting taxed. You can calculate how much you're saving there. So you might say, listen, I don't want to save money. I need to use my money. You can use the money. It goes into a place called Optum Bank. You can use your money for, I'm going to zoom in so we can all see this a little bit better. You can actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to highlight it so you can see what I'm talking about. You can use your money for any eligible medical, dental, or vision expense. You can use it on yourself, your spouse, or your dependents, even if they're enrolled under another medical plan. So you might think, okay, what's an eligible medical, dental, or vision expense? I highlighted this, IRS Publication 502. If you were to type that into your phone or whatever, it's going to show you this very comprehensive list. This money can be used when you go to the doctor. You might say, I don't go to the doctor's a lot. You can use it if you're buying glasses. You can use it if you go to the dentist. You can even use it on sunscreen if it's at a certain SPF. I say that because it is really interesting, the wide range Band-Aids, of what is considered an eligible expense. Some people that are on HSA plans feel very passionate about how much money you can save when you're on this plan. Now, here's another benefit to an HSA. Let's say you sign up for this next year and you put, let's say $500 in, and over the course of next year, you're using some of it, but you get to the end of the year and you're thinking, oh, I haven't used all my money. It rolls over. It rolls over year after year after year. There's no expiration for this money. You don't have to use it or lose it. The other benefit to your HSA is, heaven forbid you decide to leave your company, you retire or whatever, it goes with you. It's owned by you. So there's a lot of benefits that, like I said, your money would be through Optum Bank. They would probably send you a debit card. Lots of benefits to signing up for a plan like this. So I wanted to be able to illustrate that for you. Okay, I'm going to keep going on. You have dental coverage being offered to you through Principal. Here, why do I stress the word Principal? Several months ago, was in Missouri and I was in a room full of very intelligent people. And the guy said, and I was glad he shared this story, I went to the dentist and I had to pay over $200 for a cleaning. Be mindful that, and that might sound like a silly mistake, but he just presented his medical card. Some people don't get dental ID cards. Sometimes they send them out. So how do you find out who your in-network dentists are? A couple ways. You can go onto this website here or call a dentist, ask them if they're in network with Principal. They will find you. So again, you have in-network coverage, you have out-of-network coverage. which is this works very similarly to when you go out of network with medical. Now, if you go in network to a dentist and you have any preventative procedures, exams, cleanings, it's going to cover you. You're not paying anything. If you need a filling or let's say a crown, you have to pay a one-time calendar year dental deductible. So for example, it doesn't matter, low or high plan, you pay $50. If you have dependents on your plan, you pay no more than $150. And that's good for the whole year. Once you pay it, if you elect this low plan, this plan covers you 80% of your allowable expenses. You only pay 20%. It's the same on the high plan. I'll tell you what's different about that high plan in just a second. For these, anything under here, it would cover you at 50%. It's the same deductible, by the way. Now, this is what the plan pays. Each person on this plan who you sign up, they set aside, principal sets aside $1,000. And over the course of the year, they use that $1,000 to make payments for those claims. You don't have to share that. That's per person per calendar year. So if you're sitting there right now and you're thinking, shoot, I haven't gone to the dentist this year, you still have whatever benefit you haven't used. Okay, so this will replenish every year. Here's something that's very rare that you guys have, and I'm going to read it to you because it's not on this page. You have, this is automatic too, so you don't have to even keep track of it. You have, and I don't even have this, an embedded rollover feature. So what that means is let's say you are on this plan for a year, because for anything to roll over, you have to be on it for a year. And let's say you've gone to the dentist at least one time. We all have years where, at least for me, sometimes I go to the dentist and I need more work 1 year. Sometimes I go and I'm good for a year. So let's say you go to the dentist at least one time, you have to have at least one claim and you don't use that full $1,000. On my plan, I lose it. I get a fresh bucket at the beginning of the year, but I've lost the unused benefits. You guys, if you've gone to the dentist at least one time and do not use more than half of it. So let's say you go to the dentist, you get a cleaning, you need a filling, and you've only used a couple $100, less than $500. You will have a percentage of this that rolls over. That's not common. So that's actually a really good feature. Do you have to keep track of it? Nope. Now, if you're on this plan for years, you guys work for the same employer, the most it can roll over is 4 times. So that means you can keep adding on to this benefit each year, but there is a limit. Now, if you are on this dental plan and you don't go to the dentist at all, that they don't roll it over. You're almost like being punished because they at least want you to get in there and get your teeth cleaned. Okay. Now, the difference between the low plan and the high plan is this right here. If you have a child that needs braces or Invisalign, this high plan has coverage. The way this is a separate benefit. The way this works is you get your bill. Principal comes in and gives you $1,000 right off the top. That's only, so if your child needs braces, they only get that benefit one time for the lifetime of that they're on your plan. And then the plan pays 50%. Now, if you go out of network, you might say, wait a minute, 100%, 100%, 80%. These are the same percentages. The difference is in-network dentist offers you reduced contracted rates. Out-of-network dentist may not. This plan only covers you at a percentage of the in-network cost. Okay. So the other benefit that is rare that is on this plan is, and I want to say this, is if anyone is undergoing cancer treatment, your policy, and if you want more information on this, you can reach out to either myself or Margot, because Margot is really your account manager. Her information's in the back of the book. There is some other support and features specifically that are embedded in your plan. I think that's a good thing for me to share. Now, this is what it costs. And again, your employer is absorbing quite a bit of this dental cost on these plans because that's what comes out of your weekly deduction. Now, you are also being offered vision coverage. This is through Superior Vision. So it's really important to know that's the name of your network. So right here, Superior National Network. Now, several months ago at Brown & Brown, where I work, we had an eye doctor that came in and told us this. I didn't know this. By having your eyes examined, they can see more about your overall health than just your vision. They can see if you're pre-diabetic, high cholesterol, high blood pressure. There's a list of diseases that they can actually see by looking at your eye. I did not know that. I'm not a salesperson, by the way. I call myself a teacher. So there's no commission or benefit to me sharing that with you. My benefit is I like to share that. I think that's good information. So even if your vision's great, I encourage everyone to have their eyes examined. Now, if you go in network, the Superior Network, same thing. If you don't get ID cards, you can go onto their website or call a doctor, say, eye doctor, are you in that Superior National Network? They'll find you. $10 flat copay. You are eligible for that eye exam every 12 months. So I'm going to scroll in. Actually, you guys have some benefits that are unique. And you actually have extra benefits on your plan. I'm just looking at this. So I'm going to move my thing. So every 12 months. So let's say you go to an eye doctor February 1st, you're eligible for your next exam. The following year, it's actually February 2nd. It's 12 months and 1 day. If you need lenses, basic lenses, they charge you a flat copay, contacts as well. And you can see frames, you can shop for new frames every 24 months. This is through your Complete Parachute Solutions. Down here is specifically how it works with different exams. Now, I will say this. I don't know if you guys can see me or not, but I'm wearing glasses. Several months ago, I went and had my eyes examined and went in network to a doctor and paid that. I had a prescription. I was walking in the mall and saw LensCrafters. Went in, they were having a sale, $50 off, all these coupons. These glasses were going to cost me over $500. I said, wait, are you in my network? They weren't. So even I almost messed up. I went over to VisionWorks, which is in my network, the same exact glasses, $133. Why do I share that with you? Because if you have to get glasses or contacts or whatever, always start with an in-network facility. You can see they're giving you an allowance to shop. They're covering things in full. There's a lot of benefits here. Your basic lenses, this is rare, covered in full. Typically people have to pay for that. So, Walmart's and all of that, if they're in your network, if they're out of your network, we think sometimes these discount places are better. They might be, but they only give you like reimbursement. So always start with your in-network facilities. So you have a very rich vision plan here. There's other discounts here that if you go over the allowance they give you additional discounts off of that. So right here, they've provided a number if you need any additional questions. And then if you want to add on, listen, this is great. Most people don't have this added onto their vision plan. So you've got a very comprehensive, very rich vision plan here because you're just paying flat copays for all these extra add-ons. And this is another thing that a lot of plans don't have. A lot of time LASIK isn't even embedded into that. So that is great to know. An added hearing discount. Okay, so good things to know here. This is a wonderful vision plan. Now you're also being offered short and long-term disability. Look at this, because I think everyone might know this, but that's amazing. So this is on both of these plans. Your employer is paying on both of those plans. That's wild. That's great. So short and long-term disability is paycheck protection. Heaven forbid you become ill or you're in an accident. How are you going to pay those bills? If something happens, the underwriters at Lincoln would determine if it's an eligible claim. It would follow after elimination. It would start paying after 8 days. It pays you 60%, this is your short term, of your weekly salary, up to $1,500 a week. And you can be on your short-term disability for up to 13 weeks. Now, long-term disability, in theory, picks up where short-term disability leaves off. So this would start paying if you're out of work for a longer period of time, 90 days. Long-term disability pays 60% of your monthly salary. There's a cap. Now, you can be on long-term disability if you're disabled for 2 years in your own occupation, and you can be on long-term disability if you're fully disabled and unable to perform the duties of any job up until Social Security age. So typically at this point in my webinar, people are asking, what does that cost? This is being covered to you at no cost. Your employer values you. Why can I tell you that? Because this is a way they're supporting you. These are benefits that they're covering at 100%. Now, you are being offered basic life and accidental death and dismemberment coverage. Heaven forbid something happens to you, Lincoln Financial Group would pay someone that you designate as a beneficiary $100,000. So remember at the beginning of our webinar, I said, you can't go in and change your benefits throughout the course of the year unless you have that, qualifying life event. You are allowed to update your beneficiary throughout the course of the year. You can designate one person that would receive this benefit. You can designate 3 people, as long as their percentages total to be 100%. You also could consider having a secondary or a contingent beneficiary. Heaven forbid something happens to your primary beneficiary. No cost. This is being covered by your employer fully. Now, if you go or you fall into the category of jumper class, you would be, I'm going to zoom in. I'm sure you guys might know this. I don't know. But again, this is an added benefit. You would be given additional $250,000. Again, this is no cost. Now, when you go into Paycor, I'm telling you, I would encourage you, even if you don't want to make changes, look at that, make sure everything's lined up with how you want it. Make sure you have beneficiaries attached to both of these benefits. Typically, when you're given a second benefit like this, you would have to make sure some people might want different people assigned to each benefit. Now, this is another thing that your employer is paying for, putting in place, and this is being covered at 100%. I am a big fan of employee assistance programs. These are put in place for you. You might glance up here and say, yeah, these don't really apply to me. Legal consultation, financial consultation, work-life balance. A lot of times, I'm going to zoom in here, because a lot of times people don't realize that there are other things, there's estate planning, that other services, other discounts, other things that are embedded into their EAP, their employee assistance program, that they don't realize. You can see just some of the things are listed here. You can have face-to-face counseling sessions. There are things like I just mentioned, civil law, estate planning, household budgeting. There's a lot of stuff along with tools that you might not realize are put in place for you. Why? To support you. I would encourage everyone, when they have a moment, to log on, use your password, use your username, and see if you might say, oh, wow, I'm surprised I didn't realize this. It's confidential. So if you take advantage of this, your employer, HR, no one at your company knows when you're taking advantage of this. So this is a great benefit that's put in place for you. Now, all the benefits that I've gone over to so far is, how do you pay the doctor? How do you pay the dentist? These Allstate plans pay you direct. I don't work for Allstate either, but I will tell you, in my travels, have heard people telling stories that are wild to me, as different lump sum benefits that they've received for different twisting their leg, breaking a bone, getting a cut. The way this works is, if you sign up, this is coverages through Allstate. How do you file a claim? I'm not a claim specialist, but I do know you create an account with Allstate. If something happens, let's say, well, let's just say, well, I'll use my daughter's example, dislocate a knee. After you get, your doctor's appointment or whatever, proof of that, you send it to Allstate. They send you lump sums of money. I've heard stories that blow my mind of people and the benefits they've received for things that, have been unfortunate. What you decide to do with this money is up to you. I believe that there's more coverage than what's just listed here. These are kind of general categories. Now, the other thing that is very important to note, so this is what it costs a week. If you go to the doctor for any reason, you get $100. They send you $100. Sometimes people realize, okay, that basically, well, they put it right here actually. I'm paying almost nothing a week now for this plan, that if something does happen, and then it will cover me. So there are benefits to this accident. This is a critical illness coverage. This, at the beginning, I told you, if you go to your annual physical, all those, annual checkups, they're free. This plan right out of the gates, all you do is submit that bill. You get $100. So again, it covers it. So, because that doctor's office doesn't cost you anything, that wellness one. This plan is put in place, heaven forbid something happens that is under the critical illness, diagnosis, I should say, or would cover you. Again, it pays you a lump sum. What you choose to do with that money, it's up to you. This money doesn't go to the doctor. So if you want to use that money to pay your medical bills, you can do that, or you can pocket the money and do whatever you want with it. Now, these are your key players, all the people that are put in place for you at a glance. So you don't have to question, where do I go for this? And the other thing that I think is kind of cool, it has your group number right there, because typically that's what they're going to ask you. I should know how to say this, Gallegos, but Margot and I work, I should know how to say her last name. She's wonderful. Margot's wonderful. I work with her on a lot of different accounts. I will tell you, she's very well versed in your benefits. If you have questions, you can reach out to Margot for support. So I'm going to repeat some dates, and then if anyone has questions, I'm not going anywhere. Your dates are, your enrollment window is open. Your enrollment window is in Paycor. I am going to encourage every single person to get in there and to look around to see if they know what their benefits are. Your enrollment window closes December 17th. So now's the time. And it's passive. That means that you do not have to go in and make changes if you do not want them. I would take a peek. It's worth a minute or two, because the only way you can make changes next year is if you have a qualified life event. So that sums it up for me. I hope everyone found that to be helpful.
Yep. She hear us?
She can hear you guys.
Yep.
Anybody got any questions in here?
No, sir.
No questions?
I'm going to stop recording.
No questions.